know what happened to this section of my hair today. It just died. Tuck that behind this piece and pretend like everything's fine. Anyone else out there desperately need a haircut? Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I think is going to be a really fun one. This video idea came from the lovely Rochelle. She suggested that I do a best of the brands at the drugstore video. Basically the best products from each brand at the drugstore. You guys know how much I love a good best of or ranking video. They are some of my favorite videos to watch and to do. And although I've done some of them before, this one is going to be a little bit different. Now there are a couple of ways that you could do even this type of a video. Rochelle actually mentioned doing it by category. So basically the best blush goes to a certain brand, the best bronzer goes to a certain brand. I do love that idea. But as I was going through some of these makeup brands, I realized I have multiple of the same category from different brands. So I decided just to do my #1 product from each of my favorite drugstore and affordable makeup brands. I'm going to throw in a quick disclaimer. There were a few brands that I had to give a tie because I could not decide between two. I know that's going to annoy some of you, but that is the beauty of having your own YouTube channel. You can not only make up silly little games, you can also break your own rules. But I did try my best to pick just one. So I hope that you guys are excited about this one. This was a lot of fun to go through my collection. Some of these were super easy and I know that you guys will be able to guess. In fact, I want to leave a little challenge. Pause the video if you think you can guess at least 3. But before we jump into this video, special welcome to you if you are new to my channel. I hope that you will subscribe. Of course, if you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up. And with that said, let's jump right in. All right, so we're going to start in alphabetical order today. Very schooly of me. I think it's the homeschool that's been going around here. It kind of like filtered into my cells of my body and I decided to alphabetically order these. And it was actually more challenging than I thought it was going to be. I'm actually embarrassed to mention how many times I had to erase the list because, for example, I forgot that F comes after E. I know you think I'm being sarcastic, but that actually happened. So we're going to start today with a brand that is near and dear to my heart, and that is ColourPop. I'm a big fan of ColourPop. I love their eyeshadow palettes. I talk about them all the time, and I'm sure it will be no surprise to you that my #1 product from them does happen to be an eyeshadow palette. But what also might surprise you is that I actually have a tie for this one. So there is another product that is not an eyeshadow palette that I wanted to mention as the tie. Let's start off with the eyeshadow palette. Now, you might remember if you watched my recent ranking, my #1 palette from each of my favorite eyeshadow brands. I ranked the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette as my #1 palette from ColourPop in that video, and I would mention that one today. However, I just discovered that that palette has been officially discontinued. It is no longer on the ColourPop website, which I'm actually pretty upset about. But with that one out of the running, I decided to go with the Going Coconuts palette. Now, there's a couple of reasons that I feel like this one is maybe even better suited than, no, I won't say it's better suited than the Dream Street, because I just think the Dream Street palette is perfect in every way. This is also perfect in every way palette, and I feel like this is a palette that I can't imagine anyone out there that is even modestly interested in makeup would not enjoy this palette. I think it would work for pretty much any skin tone. I think it would work for any preference range as far as how you like your eyeshadow to be. If you like it to be all matte, if you like it to be subtle, if you like it to be deep and smoky, this is going to suit everyone. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. It is a perfectly done neutral palette. I've talked about this quite a few times before. It is such a great one. I know a lot of you have picked this up on my and other YouTubers' recommendations and have enjoyed it as well. And not only that, but I do really love their 9 eyeshadow palettes because they're quite affordable. At full price, these are $12. But ColourPop, I would not buy their palettes at full price because they run sales quite often. I would say at least quarterly. So keep an eye on their website, wait till these things go on sale, and you can pick this up for well under 10 bucks, which I think for what it is a fantastic deal. So you might be wondering to yourselves, what is the product that tied with the Going Coconuts palette? And I've got to give it to this next kind of unsung hero on my channel that I haven't shared a lot with you guys, but I have been using it a lot, and the more I've used it, the more I have fallen in love with it. And it is the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. Now, I know it looks like I haven't used that much, but I am someone that is not a die-hard setting spray person, but I've been using this one more and more, and I just think it does such a good job. If you are someone that is looking to bring some hydration back to your face, the way that this does that is very, very subtle, but I do find, especially with my older and drier skin, when I'm using powder cheek products, so my bronzer and my blush, when I put those on, it always takes away a little bit of that natural dew, and this kind of gives it back to me. And that is something that as I get older, I totally appreciate. I need all the hydration that I can get in my skin. I do not want anything to suck the hydration out of my skin. It just does not look flattering. It does not make my skin look or feel its best. And this does what I really want a setting spray to do, which is to bring that hydration back. I've also talked a lot about the Shake and Glow Dew Mist by L'Oreal. I do still love this one. In fact, as far as the way these perform, I'd say they're pretty similar as far as what they do for my skin. Neither of them prolong the wear of my makeup, but they just make my skin feel more hydrated and make my makeup look better on top of my skin. But you might know if you've watched my other videos where I've ranted about this product, as much as I love it, the price tag is quite heavy. For just 3 ounces, this thing is like $14, which is pretty pricey. I do love the smell of this one even more than the ColourPop one, but this one is very pleasant, has more product in it, has nearly 4 ounces, and I believe the price on this one is quite a bit better. I will list it right here for you guys, but yeah, this I just think is a great product. If you are a setting mist person, this is a great one for a great price. Next brand is CoverGirl. Now, believe it or not, CoverGirl is probably, if I was to rank these brands in order of my most to least favorite, of my top 10 brands, CoverGirl would probably come in at number 10. I don't know what it is about CoverGirl, but most of their products that I try out, I seem to just put to the side and forget about, except for one, and that would be this one right here. This is their new Undercover Concealer. It's not that new. It's been out for quite a while now, but this is their newer branding, which I think they did last year, and I have to say this is a great drugstore concealer. One of my most reached for concealers. They have a great color range. You get a lot of product inside of here. It's nice and full coverage, but it's also not overly drying or cakey or heavy. It's kind of right there in the middle, which is where I like my concealers to be. It wears great on me. It doesn't settle too heavily into my deep fine lines that I have under my eyes. I just think it's all around great. I love the packaging of this one. I think it's adorable. Honestly, I just can't say anything bad about this concealer. It's one of my favorite concealers that I've tried out over the last year or so, and easily my favorite product that I've tried out from CoverGirl in a very long time. I've tried out quite a few things from CoverGirl over the last year. I tried out their shadow sticks. I've tried out a couple different foundations from them, a couple of face products from them, some lipsticks, and I just have not like fallen in love with anything except for this. So this is definitely my number one from CoverGirl. Next up is e.l.f., one of my very, very favorite affordable and drugstore makeup brands. They have so many products that I really love. This was a very tough one. I was extremely close to picking the e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow palettes because I really, really enjoy these, but there is one product that I have been using from e.l.f. that if I did not mention today, I would be a traitor, and it's the e.l.f. brow pencil. Now, I talk about this thing all the time. I don't think this is like the best brow product out there, but it's a really good one, and for $2, I don't know anyone else out there that's making a brow product for $2. If you are someone that just needs to get the job done really quick, this is the one that I would recommend to you. I have no qualms with going through this thing and repurchasing it. It's the type of emergency product that I leave in my car and around different places just in case I'm ever out and about and I don't have my brows on and I want them to look nice. And another thing that I think is great about this is the color. This is the color taupe. It can sometimes be hard to find. If you are someone that has kind of ashy blonde hair, it can often be hard to find the right brow pencil at the drugstore. So many of the ones that I have tried end up turning either like a yellowy light color or they end up turning kind of a warm red. It's hard to find that perfect undertone, and this one hits the nail on the head. It's perfect for my brows. I know it's not going to be perfect for everyone, but it works great for me. If you have ashier, cooler toned blonde to light brown hair, I just think this is such a good one. And did I mention it was $2? Next brand, another one of my favorites, is Essence. I'm a huge fan of Essence. I love so many of their products. The only thing about this brand that sometimes I have issues with is I feel like they discontinue products really quickly. Anyone else out there feel the same? There's so many things from them that I've fallen in love with that half a year or a year later, they're discontinued and they don't even always have like a replacement for them. Metal Shock shadows, anybody remember those? I still love those things. I think that was a tragedy, Essence. But this is another brand I'm going to cheat and mention a tie. First off, the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I'm sure you guys probably knew this one was coming. I'm sure most of you, if you are into makeup, you probably either have this and love it, or you've tried it and I can't imagine you didn't love it because I just think this is such a great highlighter. All things considered, this is the best highlighter the drugstore has to offer. It just is so beautiful. They now have different shades of this thing, which I think is fantastic. For those of you that maybe thought this one was a little bit light, definite staple, definite winner. But I really wanted to mention this other product as well. So we're going to give this kind of a tie, a slight runner-up status, and it is the Essence blushes. Essence makes amazing blushes for such an incredible price. So these are their Satin Touch blushes. These are a little bit older. I don't know if they still make these, but I will check and list them and link them down below if they still do. Still recommend these. Some of my favorite drugstore blushes. I just think they are amazing. But I did just pick these up. Now, keep that in mind. I have not been using these for very long, but I have been using them quite a bit over the last week. These are newer to Essence. They're just called the Blush. I found these on Ulta's website when I was placing my order during the 21 Days of Beauty. And I have been absolutely loving these. They are so, so beautiful. These two, I'm actually wearing these two today mixed together. This one right here is in the color 10. Befitting, which is a really nice kind of mauvey pink. But I love mixing that one with this really light, almost looks like a face powder. It's just a really light dusty pink. If you have extremely fair skin, I think you will love this blush. It is like a fair skinned person's dream blush, and it's also a great mixing blush if you have blushes that you feel like are a little bit too deep or too pigmented for you and you have a hard time getting them to work. Try dipping into that blush first and then mixing into this one. You guys, magical things happen. I have been loving these. Again, so affordable. I really feel like Essence's blushes, and honestly even their bronzers, we're not talking about those today, but I feel like they're underrated. I don't feel like a lot of people talk about them, and for the price and how good of quality they are, they definitely need some love and definitely deserve a mention in today's video. Moving on to Flower Beauty. You guys probably know what this one is, and this is another one that was tough because Flower Beauty is one of those brands that I don't know that I've ever tried anything out from them that I didn't like, but my tried and true has got to be the Light Illusion foundation. Still to this day, after all these years, I mean like a year and a half. I've tried this about a year and a half ago, but it feels like a long time because I reach for this still a lot. My Misha BB cream is giving it a run for its money because of the SPF in that one, but I still love this thing. Always will. If you like a dewy foundation that's hydrating, this is an amazing one. I do think the new Wet n Wild one is similar to this one, but I still like this one better. I think it wears a little bit better on me. It gives me a little bit more of just like a natural dew. The Wet n Wild one can sometimes get a touch greasy in areas, not like really greasy, just a touch greasy. This one never does that to me though. It just feels like I'm not wearing anything on my skin, but I magically just have a little bit of coverage. It's fantastic. I know a lot of you guys love it. I also know that some people do not love this, so be aware, which always makes me a little bit hesitant to rave about a foundation because it's one of those products that I just feel like is so personal depending on so many different variables, but this one is definitely one of my favorites and my very favorite product from Flower Beauty. Please, Flower Beauty, don't you ever dare discontinue this product. I will be so sad. The next brand is L'Oreal. I also love a lot of things from L'Oreal. I don't always love their prices on their products, but they make a lot of really great products. They have some great mascaras. I love their lipsticks, but my number one thing from them has got to be the Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. This is such a good foundation, especially if you need something that is long wearing. Now I have dry skin and I don't typically need a long wearing foundation, but normally long wearing foundations I kind of steer clear of because that to me sounds like drying or heavy or thick or cakey. This is none of those things. I wouldn't necessarily call it moisturizing, so I have to make sure that I moisturize really well under this, but as long as I do that, it does not feel drying on me throughout the day, but it wears amazingly well. I mean, the first time I tested this out, when I looked in my mirror after like 9 hours of wear, I was shocked at how much I noticed the coverage still being there. Because foundation is one of those things that I generally just expect that it's kind of going to wear off by the end of the day. So when I first tried this and saw at the end of the day that my skin still looked like I had just applied my foundation, it almost made my jaw drop because that's just not something that I expect from the type of foundations that I really enjoy. But it still looked great on my skin. In fact, I would say it looks better on my skin as the day goes on, as I start to get a little bit of my natural oils coming through. And I will say this, if you are someone that has drier skin, but in the summertime, things kind of start to melt off your face, this is such a good summertime foundation. I cannot wait to reach for this even more in the summertime because it's just so budge proof, which is one of those qualities I didn't know I needed until I tried it. Let's talk about some Maybelline, another one of my favorite drugstore brands. I feel like Maybelline does a little bit better job than L'Oreal of keeping their prices a little bit down. But of all the things that I've tried out from Maybelline, probably one of my favorite things are their lipsticks. I love Maybelline's lipsticks. I think they're fantastic. Their packaging's great. Their price point's amazing. You can find them around $5 if you buy them, I think, at Walmart or Target. And I even love all the different formulas that I've tried. I even love their matte formula, and I'm not usually a big matte formula lipstick kind of person, but their matte formula with a little bit of a gloss on top, which we'll be talking about gloss here in a minute, is absolutely amazing. So here are some of my favorites from them. They're all neutrals, as you can see, but I am going to swatch some neutrals for you guys. This one is from their, I think it's like their Shine collection, the ones that come in the kind of shiny packaging. This one is in the color Baddest Beige. These are much more kind of sheer. They actually remind me a lot of the L'Oreal Colory Shine lipsticks, which I also do love. I like these better and they're more affordable. This is another one of my favorites. This is just one of their classic kind of creamier lipsticks. This is the color Nude Lust. This is a very light nude. So if you like like a dark smoky eye and a really light nude, or you have very, very fair skin, this is a really good light nude that is right there in the middle between a peach and a pink, which is kind of just where I like my nudes to be, especially if I want something that I know is going to go with anything. Another one in that same lighter packaging is the color 930 Truffle Tease. This one I actually bought after one of you had recommended it to me, and this is one of the very few slightly brown toned nudes that works for me. Look at that color. Oh, it is so pretty. These two right here are their matte formulas. This one is in the color 650 Nude Embrace. This one I would also say is kind of a brownie toned peach right there, but with a gloss on top. This is a beautiful, beautiful color, very pigmented. The ones that are matte are much more rich and pigmented, so if you like a very pigmented lipstick, I would try out their mattes. They're not drying at all. This one is in the shade 655 Daringly Nude. This one has quite a bit more kind of pink in it, as you can see. And then this one right here is relatively new to me, one of my new favorites. This is the color 450 Romantic Rose, but it's the one that has the very dark purple tube. But I love this one. This one was actually a recommendation from Miss Melissa M. Love this pink. In fact, this has reignited my love for a cool tone pink. I kind of forgot how much I love the look of a cool tone pink, especially with like bronzy skin. Not like real bronzy skin, artificially bronzed skin, like with bronzer, because I don't know anybody that has a tan right now. We're all probably at our pastiest, but oh, if you like a nude pink, this one is so pretty. But I absolutely love these. The price on them is just right. Formula's amazing. Honestly, nothing bad that I can say about them. But we're gonna cheat again and I have a runner-up, because this is one of my most repurchased mascaras. This tube specifically, I actually don't really use anymore. I need to throw it away, but it is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. This is such a good drugstore mascara. It is so dark. It's very good at holding a curl, and it's a good separating and lengthening mascara. So for example, if you think the L'Oreal Lash Paradise was too clumpy or wild or dry feeling and looking on your eyelashes, if you like a much more evenly defined and separated looking eyelash, this is the one that I would recommend. It does come with kind of the more rubberized wand, but it's not hard and scratchy, and this stuff wears so well on me. It never smudges or flakes, yet for how good it wears, it's also still relatively easy to remove at night with just regular soap and water, and I always love that. I hate having to double cleanse my eyes, so I really want to mention it today, because if all my mascaras disappeared and I had to run out and repurchase one, this is probably the first one I would repurchase. All right. Next brand, Milani. So Milani is definitely in my very top of my favorite brands from the drugstore. I always love their products. They always work really well for me. I think they formulate things really nicely. Their packaging is usually pretty good for drugstore, but upon going through my things for this video, I found I have a bit of a bone to pick with you, Milani. I was planning to mention this right here. This is their Keep It Full lip gloss, which I do think is a really lovely lip gloss from the drugstore. In fact, I've always kind of touted this as like one of my very favorite drugstore lip glosses. The formula is really nice, the packaging is really beautiful, and I always assumed that there's a ton of product inside here. I mean, look at the size of this gloss. It's like the size of the CoverGirl concealer. These are like the exact same size, and this thing has 0.33 ounces in it. So I figured this would have a decent amount of product inside, but imagine my surprise when I was going through my NYX products. Let's do a little spoiler. This is from NYX. This is the NYX Butter Gloss. This is my favorite product from NYX. I'll just get that out of the way right now. But I just assumed, like, if you want something smaller and you want to spend less, get the Butter Gloss from NYX. If you want something with a little bit more product and you don't mind spending a little bit more, a little bit nicer packaging, get the one from Milani because it's twice the price. This one is $10. This one is about $5. Imagine my surprise when I actually looked at the amount of product inside here and discovered the NYX has 0.27 ounces of product. The giant Milani lip gloss has 0.13 ounces of product. That is crazy to me that the size difference of these two, this would have twice, more than twice, the amount of product that this one has. And I know what you guys are thinking. This is the Shake and Glow all over again. Here we go again. Clearly this is one of my pet peeves, value when it comes to makeup products, especially when they're not what I expect them to be or not what I feel like they present themselves to be. I mean, who out there would not think, looking at these two, that either they had the same amount of product or this one had more? And I know you're probably getting annoyed with me. I am absolutely ranting. This is the last thing that I will mention. If I was gonna buy this lip gloss, it's actually cheaper, like very, very slightly cheaper, to go out and buy the Fenty gloss. I would buy the Fenty gloss over this one. I mean, I love them both, but I think the Fenty one smells a little bit better. I think the formula is just a tiny bit nicer, and the packaging is even more adorable, and it's Fenty. So yeah, $18 for 0.3 ounces, and again, $10 for 0.13 ounces. Feels so nice and weighty though. I just always assumed there was a lot of product inside here, but don't be fooled. There is not. I'm pretty upset about that one. So I checked that one off of my list, but I do still have a couple other favorites from Milani. So as my true number one, I'd have to say it's the Milani Color Statement lip liners. I love these lip liners. They have become my most reached for lip liners. I think they're fantastic. The price is amazing. You can get these for under $5. The formula is great. It is creamy, but not so creamy that it slips and slides around. It lasts really well on me, and the color selection is really great. So these three colors I love all of them. I want to swatch them for you guys though, because as you can see, when you look at the tubes of these, they look pretty much identical. So this is one of my very favorites. This is the color 03 Nude. Let me go ahead and swatch this one right here. This one is more of like a true deep pink nude. Number 4 All Natural is another one of my favorites, and this one has a little bit more of like a peach brownie shift to it, as you can see, those two right there. And then lastly, I have the color number 9 Spice. This is a newer one to me, and I would say this is a good hybrid between those two with a touch more depth. So there it is right there. I would say it actually has more brown than pink, but it does have a little bit of pink in it as well. So if you do like a slightly deeper colored lip liner, Spice would probably be a really good option for you. But there they are right there. Love them all. The price is right. If I could only pick out one lip liner for my collection, these would definitely be the one. Now we already did talk about the NYX Butter Glosses, but I want to just talk in detail about these a little bit more. I love these even more now. There is actually a lot of product in here. I mean, these rival the amount of product even inside my Fenty, and they're $5 or $4.99 I think at Walmart. These are a classic. Everyone talks about these, and they've been on lists forever. I mean, since like 10 years ago, YouTube, and they're still really good to this day. My very favorite color would have to be Creme Brulee. I feel like this is most people's favorite color, but it's such a good one. This is the one I'm actually wearing on my lips today. Let's put a little more on. It is a lighter pinky peach. I love this one paired on top of a very slightly darker lip liner. It is like the perfect topper for it. The formula of these I think is lovely. It's not too sticky, but it still is plenty glossy, and it lasts a decent amount of time for a gloss. I have I think 6 or 7 of these shades, but my 3 favorites would have to be these right here. So here's Creme Brulee. Another favorite of mine is this one right here, Tiramisu. This one is a little bit more of like a cool, almost like a cooler tone pink. It does have a little bit more depth than Creme Brulee, so if you thought Creme Brulee was just a little bit too light for you, you might like that one. Another one of my very favorites that I don't hear anybody talking about, and I love this gloss, is the color Madeline. Here it is right here. It looks very kind of brown toned, but I love this gloss on top of really any other lipstick. It pairs really well. It reminds me a lot of Honey by Persona, which is one of my very favorite glosses. Oh my goodness, those are like dupes. Dupe alert right there. Those are almost identical to each other. No wonder I love this gloss so much. So maybe if you've been wanting to try out Persona gloss, which I still recommend, they're amazing. But if you're on a budget, this is a great alternative. We're down to the W's. You can probably guess what brand this one's going to be. One of my all-time favorite brands from the drugstore, Wet n Wild. I love Wet n Wild not just because they have such a great price point, but their products for the price point are outstanding, and I mean across the board. They make great foundations, they make great brow products, they make great eyeshadows and blushes and highlights and lipsticks and lip glosses. Honestly, they are a brand that amazes me. What they can do for their price point amazes me, and I so appreciate being able to get good makeup and not have to spend an arm and a leg, because I think that's the reality of the situation most of us are in most of the time. That is real life, right? But can you all guess what I'm putting as my number 1 product from Wet n Wild? Let's all say it together. Simma Brown Now from, what is this? Jordana. Get out of here, poser. Simma Brown Now Kohl pencil. I gathered all the ones that I have up just here on my desk. This pencil is like my 11th finger. It is an appendage to me. I use this every single day and have been using it every single day since long before I started my YouTube channel. I know many of you guys have tried this out on my recommendation. This is a pretty basic product, a pretty basic pencil, but I love it. It does not make my eyes water. There's a lot of pencils that I try. I would say about half the pencils that I end up trying tend to make my eyes water a little bit. This one never has done that for me. It isn't long wearing, but it does wear really well on my eyes. I don't find that it moves or smudges throughout the day. And I am telling you guys, I wear this product at least 4 or 5 times a week on my waterline and on my lash line. I can't get enough of it. And it's 99 cents. And if Wet n Wild ever stops making this product, I just don't know what I will do. Now, these are actually really hard to find and link for you guys online. So if you have access to either a Target, a Walmart, or a Dollar Tree, that's where I find these the most often. I've also tried one of their brown shades called Mink Brown. I found that one to be pretty similar to this one, other than it just was a tiny bit warmer, but it was still nice and dark, nice and rich. I loved that one as well, but this is definitely My favorite. If there was ever a product that defined me, it would be this one. And with that, that is it for today's Best of the Brands video. I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing about my number 1 or number 2 products from each of my favorite drugstore makeup brands. I would love to know, what are your favorite products from some of these brands or from some drugstore brands that you guys love that maybe I didn't mention? Let me know down in the comments below. Hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you again, Rochelle, for such a great idea. I had so much fun doing this video. But I hope that all of you are doing well. I really hope that this video helped you feel a little bit less lonely in isolation. Thank you guys so much for all the comments and engagement and feedback that you've been giving me in my comment section. I know I am sometimes a little bit slow to reply, but I have so much fun reading through those comments. It's been fun to get to know some of you guys a little bit better. But that is it for today. Hope that you guys have a good one. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. No, E comes over. This is really sad. Yes, got him right. Good girl, Mandy. You know your alphabet. I was very... Guys, you gotta be quiet over there. Because that's just not some... Oh, itch. L'Oreal. You need to come back down closer to that $10 mark. When things start to get up closer to 15, alarms go off inside of my brain. And it's like, warning, warning, go to Sephora instead. But it's the one that has the very dark purple tude. Tude. Your hair is getting limper by the second. It's just really hot down here. Oh. Okay, Charlie. Can you say, hi, I'm jumping?
Hi, I'm jumping.
We have a mini trampoline with like a little cage on it right behind where I film, which was a smart place to put it, right? You guys hear her jumping. Hey, Charlie, can you do a bum war?
Can you do this many?
That many? You want to do that many more times?
Yeah.
10 more times? Ready? Oh boy, we'll be here for a while. Pause. Pause for a bum war. Ready? 1. Ready? 2, 3, 4. I declare a bum war. Let's do it again. Okay, here we go. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, we do 6? Okay, this is how she does it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even more adorable. And